one of the best analogies you ever shared with me was, and I've used it 100 times since then, is this idea of, you see all these coaches now standing on top of the house and they're going like, the view's great up here, just jump. What they're not showing you is the ladder behind the house that they climbed up to get to the top of the house. And the Confident Coach Blueprint is the ladder. And so you can get to the top of the house with the other coaches. You just have to climb the same ladder they climbed, but they're not necessarily showing you. And so, if somebody's watching this and they're spinning their wheels, that's what I'd say is like, this is that ladder. The way you guys approach niching to me is worth its weight in gold, because I think that's one of the things that stumps up so many new coaches, is that just being terrified of niching. And the way you guys approach it with the ballpark idea and the ballpark figure stuff like that itself was a major barrier buster for me, to just say, hey, get out there and flip and coach. Don't worry about niching right now. Just get out and coach. Like, you got a ballpark idea, just get out there and coach. Because that's not what other people are saying. They're saying you need to spend all this time niching. And I think for a lot of coaches, one of the limiting beliefs is, I'm not good enough, or I'm not picking the right person, and so forcing them to niche is like the perfect storm to stall them out.
If you're done associating yourselves with marketers disguising themselves as business coaches who are trying to sell you their high ticket $10K a month program where you're supposed to use buzzwords like high ticket sales, niching, and client avatar, well, then you're going to want to listen to Justin, who used to chase every shiny object out there, but he's now on the fast track of becoming one of the 5% of coaches out there who finds a way to actually coach clients on a full-time basis, which will allow him to fulfill the mission God sent him here to complete. Let's hear what Justin has to say. Just kind of get right into it. And well, thanks, Justin, for meeting with me. And I'm just really excited to ask you some questions and to get it to hear a little bit your story, and so other people can hear and just how far you've come in, like I said, a short period of time. And so the first question I want to ask you is, can you just share right away how you originally found me?
Yeah, so I started officially coaching, when I say official, like a formal LLC and all that stuff, in February. And it's like when the algorithm picks up that you're a coach, you get like inundated with people that call themselves coaches. But I have quickly come to learn they're marketing people. They're not really coaches. And they think by using the term marketing coach or business coach or whatever, that other coaches are like, yeah, I need that. I'm coaching, like I need a coach. There we go. And so I being naive and just jumping into it and having this grand vision of what I wanted it to be, I think I chased every shiny little object that came across my screen and quickly realized that it was the quintessential sales funnel. Like, you start with, hey, we'll give you this resource for free. And then you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that. And then the next thing is, well, if you, for $40 you get this. And I go, okay, that sounds good. And then, well, for $200 we'll add on this. And after about 3 or 4 clicks of that, you're like, what is this? What am I really getting here?
Yeah.
And I quickly came to realize, all right, you guys are just fleecing me of my money and, not really giving me anything in return. Like, even the free stuff, very few people that were giving away free stuff, was it actually anything of substance. Like, I'd get it and I'd be like, wow, this is really generic and very vague. And I knew all this already. So this doesn't help me. And even the low level stuff, like $20 for this or $47 for that. And you're like, well, this is just super generic stuff. And then I was, to really get help, I've got to shell out a bunch of money here. But the problem is you go through those cell funnel things and it didn't build trust with those people, because I felt like step 1, step 2, I was like, I feel like I'm getting sold a bag of goods here. So I really don't want to pay the extra money to be a part of whatever it is you got going on.
Yeah.
And then I'd sit in on some webinars, like the free webinars or the challenge weeks and stuff. And I'd do that stuff. And it was good. Like, don't get me wrong, there was some good content. Those were better than the sales funnel things. But you always felt like, all right, waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, when is the sales pitch coming? like I know I'm really getting good stuff here, but I know there's a sales pitch coming, and I mean, if you felt like you were being buttered up and fattened up during the week to be slaughtered at the end. And I got in a couple of life coaching groups, and I came across one of your posts, and it was the initial one where, you know, hey, I'm wanting to pour into some other coaches. So I'm offering the interview, and then, you know, if we work together 4 complimentary sessions, 30 minutes. And I, as like the first session of those complimentary sessions, it was like, okay, here's somebody who knows what I'm looking for, who is not a business coach, he is a life coach who's helping me build a life coach business. Like this is a guy who's been coaching legitimately. He's not a marketing guy. He's not a business guy. He has those insights, but he's just sharing how he's built his coaching business. And so for me, it was very much like a breath of fresh air. I was like, okay, this is different. And so at the end of those 4 sessions, and even then, like you weren't like, I didn't feel like, all right, there's a pitch coming at the end of the 4 sessions. It was like you know, I know there's going to be 4 sessions, and but it was weird. Like at the end of the 4 sessions, like, gosh, I don't want these 4 sessions to end. Like
right.
I'm getting value here. And so when you mentioned the confident, and I'd seen some stuff about the CCB, and when we talked a little bit about the Confident Coach Blueprint, it's like, you know, this is what I need. Like I just need the step-by-step map. You know, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do things, but I want the process. Like I don't want, because the marketing folks they'll pitch you, you know, we'll have you making 12 grand in a month, or we'll have you make, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Like, yeah, sign me up. But every time I was looking at what they were doing, it was fitting me into their box. Like, hey, if you want to make 12 grand a month, here's the way you need to coach, and here's the way you need to package it, and da 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 da. It's like, I don't want that. Like, this doesn't feel right. And then to talk to you in the way you coach, I was like, well, that's more in line of how I'd like to coach. You know, the more long-term clients, and not so much a prescribed box of, well, we're going to work together for 2 months. More of a we'll work together as long as you want to work together. That just resonated with me, and the fact that it was a step-by-step blueprint with guidance along the way of, hey, this is how we built our business, and we know it works. We're proof that it works. And so we're just sharing the steps with you, and we're here to help you along the way and overcome some of the things we overcame. And which to me speaks to the fact that you guys are coaches offering a coaching blueprint. You're not marketing people offering a coaching. You guys are coaches. So you know the barriers that coaches bump up against. And another thing that really I felt like was authentic and resonated with me was the fact that a lot of the other marketing coaches will tell you, you know, blow past every objection they have. Like you need to counter every objection. And you guys kind of came at it to the point of, you know, identifying your ideal client. And, you know, if you have to answer too many objections, the person's probably not your right client for you. And so you're not, and that's not me. Like I'm not going, eventually I can't, to me, a good coach, you can't want something more than the person you're talking to. Mm-hmm. And so if I have to push back, I'm going to answer a couple objections just to press a little bit. But if I spend so much of my time answering your objections, then we don't need to be working together.
Yeah.
And you guys were one of the only people I have found that approached it in that way. And so that was a lot of the draw. That's how I found out about it. And that was a lot of the draw for me to it.
That's great. Amazing answer. I appreciate that, because I didn't even know about all that too. So I always get to learn so much more when we do these sit downs. Can you just tell us just a little bit more? Tell me a little bit more about what you were struggling with, where you were at, and kind of what you were struggling with before we started working together.
The biggest thing I was struggling with was really that blueprint. Like I felt like I had enough foundational knowledge to coach, and I had clients. Like I was coaching people, but it was like I know where I want to go, but I don't know how to get there, and I don't want to have to undo a lot of decisions or undo a lot of things. And arguably, you know, I found you guys after I had started charging clients. I kind of wish I'd found you before I'd started charging clients, because that's been a little bit of an awkward piece of trying to reduce some pieces, but still keep clients going. But that was the biggest struggle, is how do I build this thing so that it's not a flash in the pan, that I can build a sustainable practice and not $12,000 in a month sounds great, but what if that doesn't happen the next month? What if it doesn't happen the next month? And so for me, I really needed to step back and pull away from the overnight success stuff and instead focus on, all right, I'm building a business here. And most small businesses take time to build, 1 to 2 years to really get off the ground and get going and be sustainable. And so, the only person benefiting from me making 12K in 1 month is the person I paid to teach me how to do that if I can't replicate it. So finding a system that was easy to follow, that was intuitive, and that built a firm foundation was what I was looking for. And so having worked in the CCB thus far to where I am, that's what this is.
That's amazing. And what was it that caused you to choose to team up with us and our style of coaching to help you really get the results you want to get?
It was really the fact that you guys are life coaches and that you coach how I want to coach. And that's hard to find. It really is hard to find. There are so few coaches like us that coach or want to coach on a long-term basis with people. So many coaches I've run into have I've got a 2-month package or a 6-month package, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not putting that down if that's what fits for you, but that didn't fit with me.
Right.
And so I always felt like I'm trying to fit in. I'm a square peg trying to fit in a round hole.
Right.
And when I met you guys, you kind of brought all the pieces together. You coached holistically. You are life coaches. You're successful life coaches, and the system that you have is simple. It's easy to follow. It's really intuitive. I'll be honest, as I've gotten into some of it, I'm like, gosh, why did I think about this earlier? So it's just, I don't know, it just clicks with me. And I just felt like we were approaching coaching in much the same way. And so your blueprint felt like it would fit for the kind of coaching I wanted to do. And so that was kind of the biggest reason, is there just seemed like a lot of alignment and authenticity and just resonated with the way I wanted to coach. So to me, it just kind of seemed like this is what I was looking for.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And what are some of the valuable resources that you've learned so far by working together? The tools, resources?
Definitely the getting clear on who my ideal client is. But I say doing that in a way that's different. I didn't just build a client avatar, which is, the buzzwords you hear tossed around. There was a lot of self-reflection on, what is my background, and, not necessarily who do I want to help, but who do I feel called to help, and who do I feel equipped to help. And, just thinking back on my past, what kind of things have people come to me for help for? And really doing some deep diving internally to figure out what kind of client do I want to coach, and should I be coaching? Not so much of who's your niche and who's your avatar. It was a lot of self work on the front end, which was really helpful. And then the way you guys have systematized it to how to move from that to, all right, now identifying some initial keywords. And because I think one of the biggest things you guys have shared with us is, especially if you just come out of coaching training, you're using all the coaching words. And so, you're using words that we know what they mean, but clients don't necessarily know what they mean. Mm-hmm. So moving from that into, that founding 50 and starting to do some research and starting to pick up clients' actual words, went from I'm throwing posts out there that aren't getting any traction and aren't getting any attention to I can throw a post out there and feel fairly confident based on the date or the time that I put it out there that I'm going to get 2 to 5 interests in it. They don't always turn into clients, but at least I'm going to get some response back to it. I'm going to get people signing up for clarity calls, and but it's systematic. So it's the blueprint, doing the internal work, and then just systematically moving that into getting out there. The way you guys approach niching to me is worth its weight in gold, because I think that's one of the things that stumps up so many new coaches, is that just being terrified of niching, and the way you guys approach it with the ballpark idea and the ballpark figure stuff, like that itself was a major barrier buster for me to just say, hey, get out there and flip and coach. Don't worry about niching right now. Just get out and coach. Like, you got a ballpark idea, just get out there and coach. Because that's not what other people are saying. They're saying you need to spend all this time niching. And I think for a lot of coaches, one of the limiting beliefs is I'm not good enough, or I'm not picking the right person, and so forcing them to niche is like the perfect storm to stall them out. And so for me, I know for me personally, like that concept around niching really opened the door for me to, all right, just get out there, swing the bat, and your niche it'll come to you. Like, it really will come to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like if other programs are saying like you need a niche right away, it's almost like being a field goal kicker, and then like the pressure's on, right? You gotta make this field goal to win the game, and we kind of like caught an audible. It's like, we're not even gonna do field goal. We're gonna punt that niche 500 clients down the road, and you just got to start to work the system, and that niche will come to you. But if it's like the whole pressure, it's like being a brand new football player, like it's like a new coach being put in a big game, and you got to make this field goal. It's like so much pressure, and if I don't get it right, and it's just like, that's just, just just punt it. Don't even field goal, just punt it down the road. Don't even worry about the niche, and just play, just have fun. But here, just actually start coaching and get the data, because that's what's gonna difference. That's gonna make the difference.
Yeah, and it really does. I mean, your niche really does start to come into focus. Like, I think, there was initially some fear of, well, if I do this, it's going to take me longer to find my niche, but it really does bring your niche into focus, and your messaging changes, and it gets more targeted, and you start to get more clients on clarity calls that you're like, oh, we connect here, and I'm not having to filter out a bunch of people. Like, it's starting, the posts are starting to hit the right people, and that's just all from just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, and it is true. If you do the CCB, it's going to take you longer to get your niche, but you're going to get clients quicker. Mm-hmm. And at the reversal of trying to get the niche, a lot of times I just see so many people. Amanda kind of coined the term life coach roadkill, which is it's kind of funny to me, but it's not funny to experience it. But it's 95% of coaches that try it get out of coaching school. They don't have any training with the business, nothing systematic, nothing mentoring, and then niche, high ticket, all the buzzwords, and it's just very inauthentic coaching. And like, you need to do this away from your heart, away from something that's in alignment with your values to get to where you want to be, which that doesn't work in any business. And so the niching right away gets less clients, I found, and actually doing systematic, the niching, it pushes down the road. But do you really want the niche right now, or do you want clients right now? You want clients right now. Yeah. So then that answers that question.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And what do you feel like, because you chose to go down the CCB, Confident Coach Blueprint path, and to take on this journey and actually accelerate fairly quickly, where do you feel like you would have been right now if you didn't take the CCB?
I definitely would not have interacted with as many people as I've interacted with. I would not have targeted my messaging to the way that I've targeted it now. And I've got one particular post that I know when I put that post out, and I've got my date and my time that it typically works, I'm going to get traction. I would not have that. So I, in a sense, I know I've got one of those levers that I can pull. It doesn't guarantee me a client necessarily, but it just about guarantees me some interest. And I've been very fortunate to have a pretty good closing rate with clarity calls. So I have a good sense that if I get somebody on a clarity call and we do connect, there's a high potential that that's going to become a client because of the value that clients are getting from working with me. So that's one of the biggest things. Like, I wouldn't have that. I would still be spinning my wheels on how to get my messaging right. And I don't feel like, I think we talked about this some in the initial complimentary sessions, like just a system. Like, that's just all I needed was a system. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have that. I would just still feel like I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And having gone through the Confident Coach Blueprint thus far, being a part of it, like I have a system, and that's been a huge thing for me.
Yeah. And it's extremely, like, frustrating and deflating to like know what you want to do, know you want to serve people, you want to coach, you want to help people, but you don't have it in the mindset, you don't have the tools, you don't have the support. Like it's just, to me, there's no worse feeling. I mean, there's pain in life and there's all kinds of things, but to not be able to live my purpose, I feel personally that's like a wasted life. And I can't stand wasting my life or my time. So I know what that
Hmm.
feels like, but also it's necessary to get to that point to be like, hey, God, I need help. Lord, I need help. I'm at this precipice. I'm at this fork in the road. I need you to remove it. I need you to show me the way. And so that is so necessary for coaches to get to that point, to evolve their coaching business, because that's exactly what we do for our clients. There's certain pain points they have to be ready, right? Have to be ready, have to
Yeah.
be able and willing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What message for the person that's watching this right now that was in your shoe, or they're in your shoes that you were in, so to speak, before you started this, spinning the wheels, maybe feeling a little bit of frustration, a little bit of like, man, I don't want to continue to be working for somebody else. I really want to do this full time. What message would you share to them as they're watching this right now?
Definitely consider the Confident Coach Blueprint. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me, but and it's not for everybody like that. I get
Mm-hmm.
that, but consider it, like at least consider it, because it is, if you're looking for a system, if you're looking for a step-by-step one of the best analogies you ever shared with me was, and I've used it 100 times since then, is this idea of, you see all these coaches now standing on top of the house and they're going like, the view's great up here, just jump. What they're not showing you is the ladder behind the house that they climbed up to get to the top of the house. And the Confident Coach Blueprint is the ladder. And so you can get to the top of the house with the other coaches. You just have to climb the same ladder they climbed, but they're not necessarily showing you. And so, if somebody's watching this and they're spinning their wheels, that's what I'd say is like, this is that ladder. It's not going to guarantee you overnight success. It's not necessarily um, one of the big flashy things that are out there, but it works and it builds a firm foundation so that you have a sustainable coaching practice. You don't have a flash in the pan coaching practice, and you have the tools to genuinely create a system where you can pull a lever and get interest in your coaching sessions. It takes work. It doesn't happen overnight. And you guys, you don't guarantee like, you're going to be making 12K in 1 month. You guys are slow, methodical, and it reminds me of that old Aesop's fable, the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
The tortoise wins the race at the end of the day. So it's just that slow, methodical plan. It's a great business plan for somebody who's looking to be a long-term coach, or not even just a long-term coach, even if you work with packages, but just a way to build a systematic process to build your business, identify your niche, hone in your messaging. And you guys have all the tools in there to determine when to pull the switch to go full time, how to do that. All that stuff is in there. So yeah, I just say really consider it, because it is a step-by-step process.
Yeah, and it is very, I would say, yeah, exactly. It's systematic, it's scientific, and it will produce results if you work the system, of course. And it is the whole point, exactly what you said, is long term and to do this full time. And it's so exciting because in the founding 50, you're right, you're gonna find kind of the levers that work to get to the next level. In the financial 50, like this one works 100% of the time, and then it gets more dialed in. You actually will get more levers with a higher
Mm-hmm.
percentage of interest, and then again the higher closing rate. It becomes so slick, and you get to a point where you don't need to pull any levers, everything is full, or it becomes automatic too as well, which is super exciting.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting close to that point, and it's exciting. So
We're super excited for you too. And is there anything else, Justin, that's really important to share that you just haven't mentioned yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I've touched on everything that to me was really stood out to me about the Confident Coach Blueprint, and why I definitely would recommend it. Um, I, I am definitely thankful for it, and I'm grateful for the blueprint, and I appreciate you guys putting it together, because it has helped me start to lay a firm foundation to where, I mean, 6 months into my coach, I'm not where I want to be yet. 6 months into my full time, I don't even call it full time, but my official coaching practice, but I am farther than I ever thought I would be in 6 months, for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
That's amazing. We just, like I said, we love seeing you grow every day because the whole point is, healing, evolving, connecting as a team sport. So I just feel like we just need each other to help each other to get to where we need to be collectively. And if there is somebody out here watching this and just saying like, "Hey, I really resonate with Justin, and I definitely want to work with him," what kind of ideal person, as of right now, to this degree or
Mhm.
this level of your evolution of your business, who's kind of like you're the ideal person that you would want to work with, and what you can help them with?
Yeah. So ideally, I coach around purpose and intentionality and mindset. So those folks that feel stuck, that feel like there's something more out there for them, but they can't quite put their finger on it, they can't articulate it, or they know what it is, they just don't know how to get to it. Those have been the clients that I have connected the most with and been able to help the most, is doing some inner discovery and then identifying those obstacles and overcoming them. So if somebody finds himself in that spot, I'd be happy and would love to interact with them and work with them. We do a lot of work around inner voice and getting rid of the critic that's inside of you and starting to especially tune into God's voice and what is He
Mm.
telling you to do, and how has He created and equipped you, and what does a fulfilling life look like in light of all that stuff, instead of necessarily what society says is fulfilling, because most of the time that's what causes us pain is we're living somebody else's idea of fulfilling and not what we were created and designed to do. So that's mainly the clients that I work with.
That's awesome. And thank you for just sharing that. We're going to put your contact information in the link below. So people watching, if they feel called to it, reach out and team up with Team Justin and be able to get to that next level for them too as well. So, but thanks for meeting me with Justin. It's just been a pleasure, of having you part of the CCB. And we're excited. We're always conspiring on the back end to make it in your favor, to make sure you do better. So we're constantly trying to learn, evolve, and grow it to make it more and more efficient so you can make a greater impact. So just thank you for doing what you do, because we need more people like you. And thank you for sharing again a little bit of your story, because it just shines brightly to other people. It can illuminate their hearts, their eyes, and help them to awaken to their God-given purpose, their mission that God has for them. So thank you very much for that, and look forward to more to come.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for putting this program together. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, it tells me a few things about you. Things like you have a deep calling from within to help people. I know that you are searching for the right system, the right program, the right community that has already achieved what you are wanting to achieve, and who actually can help you become the purpose-driven coach you were born to be. I know that you've been doing your absolute best with what you know how to do, and I also know that you're aware that you don't know how to get to that next level on your own. I know that you weren't born to be an employee following rules somebody else made up for you. I know that the longer you stay doing what you do not love to do, it will suck the life out of your soul. I know that you follow your internal guidance, and if you're listening to my words right now, hearing from deep within to reach out and schedule a time to meet with either myself or Amanda to see if the Confident Coach Blueprint is right for you. You can find the link to our online scheduler in the comments below. And if you're ready to team up and learn the exact steps you must take in order to become a full-time successful life coach and have your life coach business permanently transformed, then schedule a time now to meet with me, and we will interview to see if we're a great fit. Until the next time, stay blessed, keep the divine presence close, and shine brightly.